Okay, so to continue from where we left on with automation, Zoho CRM offers standard automations. There's about 6 or 7 of them. The most commonly used ones are workflow rules, lead assignment rules, lead scoring rules, lead automation through email, blueprints, and custom functions. Workflow rules. Workflow rules are a set of actions based on the triggers on either the fields or the sections in the CRM to basically shorten the workload or the physical workload of an individual. An example of a workflow rule is, let's take again an example of a marketing team. Now, a marketing team has a contact and a deal in place. Now, let's just say in the deal, we have a couple of fields. One field being is email followed up with question mark, with a drop down list being a yes or no. Based on a deal being created, will an email be sent to that individual? So what a workflow rule does is, based on a record action, that action being the deal being created or edited, once, what then happens is an email is automatically sent out to the recipient of that deal or the customer or contact of that deal. That automatically takes place without you having to go and update the field to a yes. It automatically updates it to yes. Similarly, if you have to follow up with a deal and you have a date in place, the date being follow up 1 week from the 5th of June, then what you would do is you'd go and create an automatic or a workflow rule which states that follow up X number of days or say 1 week past the due date of that rule. What is a lead assignment rule? A lead assignment rule is when a manager, for instance, has to assign leads based on a specific individual, any user, or a round robin method. So as discussed initially in part 1 or module 1 as to what territory management was and how do you set about users and the hierarchy, in the same way the lead assignment rule would take place where a manager decides to assign the rule based on that individual's requirement as a user. What is a lead scoring rule? Lead scoring rules are scores given upon a certain action or update in that particular contact, lead, or a deal. For instance, new lead created, add 1 point. New lead has first name, at 10 points. New lead has email address, at 10 points. New lead is a new customer, at 10 points. New lead is an existing customer, which then becomes a contact. So then the workflow would take place where a lead gets created, it goes over to contact. However, a new contact does not get created, and the reason being is the record already exists. Based on the email, obviously that will take precedence, and no new contact gets created. So same, you could have the same type of lead scoring rules in contacts as well, which then updates existing contacts at 10 points. So usually people have a score obviously based on our own education system of 1 to 50 or 1 to 100. Lead automation through email, I already gave you an example of that. So for instance, in a deal, if there's an advance payment being made on the order, then what you do is you'd have an automated email sent to the client thanking them for the advance payment made. For instance, there is a field which is called advance payment received question mark. As soon as that field is populated, a workflow rule kicks in where an automatic email or an automated email with predefined values goes out to that recipient. What is a blueprint? Blueprints are standard procedures that are followed by companies in place for either the marketing or the sales or the support experience. For instance, if you have a lead, does that lead feel does that lead have all the required criteria to be able to convert to a contact or a deal? In case being, if the lead does not have first name, then it cannot proceed until you get the first name to be able to convert to a deal. Likewise, another instance would be email address, which is a very, very important field to have of a client's or a potential deal. So if the email address is empty, you cannot convert it over, nor can you proceed to the next step or even fill in the next field. The email address is mandatory or will be mandatory as per the blueprint to be able to proceed to the next step or the next level. What are custom functions? Custom functions are offered by functions are offered by Zoho or designed by Zoho to put in place specific functions that are not available by default in the CRM. So let me give you an instance over here of a default function or a custom function. Let's say that the requirement of a customer is he wants to be able to follow up with an individual 1 week from now, and thereafter every day receive a notification stating that the lead or the contact needs to be followed up with until the task is closed. So 1 week from now, the user in the CRM gets an intimation saying, please follow up with the task. It is due today. And then they ignore it, or they're too busy, or they forget about it. What custom functions allows you to do is set in place a function which then triggers a reminder if that function or that task for the day has not been dealt and closed with. Thereafter, the next day, a reminder being sent, and after that, until the task is closed. Data administration. Data administration is the handling of information or data within the CRM. What we will cover today is importing, web forms, data deduplication, backup, storage, data migration from third parties. Importing data into the CRM is very important. Importing data is based on a certain criteria to be able to import the data either from an Excel sheet or a third party. An example of data importing would be leads. There's two ways to import data into the CRM. One is directly from the module for its respective data, and one is from the data administration section in the settings where you can import multiple modules of data. Again, set on field criteria or field matching capabilities. What are web forms? Web forms are like contact forms that you have on a website. You can have a dedicated contact form created within the CRM to be able to insert into the website, which when filled in will create a new lead in the CRM. What is data deduplication? Data deduplication is the tool offered to be able to avoid duplication in your CRM, whether it be by ID name or record ID name, whether it be by last name, or whether it be by the most important part, which is email address. Two individuals can never have the same email address. Hence, the most important deduplication option is the email address. Backup. Zoho offers to back up your services once a month for free, after which they charge you a standard rate to do a second backup or a third backup. What happens is Once you create a backup, that backup is sent to your email address, which includes all your data from the CRM. Storage. Storage space is a space offered by Zoho CRM within its account. And when I mentioned within its account, specific user account. So if we have the user to the license info@itsolutionsolve.com, you are given a certain amount of storage for each module in the CRM. Let's refer to the document section. The document section offers a standard 20 MB per file up to a maximum of, depending on the edition of the CRM that you choose. Data migration from third parties. Data migration from third parties is the option of importing data from third party CRMs such as HubSpot, Salesforce, Zoho CRM, which is a different instance or a different user based account, and other third party CRMs that are out there. Module number 9, Zoho Marketplace. Zoho Marketplace is an inbuilt marketplace on the CRM platform, which allows you to install Zoho CRM extensions developed by Zoho and third-party partners, Zoho applications, Google applications. In Google applications, I can give you two examples. One of that is of the Google Calendar, and another option of importing all your contacts from your Google database into Zoho. Office 365 applications, which again can sync the same as Google, which gives you the option of syncing your calendar and importing your contacts, and other third-party applications that are there. To come back to Zoho apps over here, the Zoho apps, for example, are applications which have been built by Zoho, such as integrations between certain applications, for instance, Zoho Desk, Zoho Mail, Zoho Connect, Zoho Sales IQ, and various other Zoho products. Do you all have any questions for this webinar?
One question over here, White. In the module 7, there was a lead scoring rules.
Mhm.
So is it like that way? Mean as we move forward in a lead,
Mhm.
means suppose in the first stage we give 10 points. Suppose so mean the stage the lead has reached up to a stage 1, so we are giving it 10 score. So is that way what I'm getting?
Somewhere, but not exactly. And the reason being is, now let's
Mm-hmm.
just say you're handling the CRM as a user.
Mm-hmm.
Now your company has the policy that if a new lead gets created in the CRM,
Mm-hmm.
you can assign a new lead based on the email availability for 10
Mm-hmm.
points. First name, last name gathered, 20 points. That's 10 points for first name, 10 points for last name. Phone number, 10 points. Mobile, 10 points. So if your company has a system not of 100, say of 50, then you scored 50 out of 50. Does that hamper you being able to convert the lead to a contact or a deal? Absolutely not. It's just a scoring rule which your company might have in place for
Okay.
fulfilling a requirement of a lead, a contact deal, or any other module where the score is available. So what we're
Okay.
going to do, and the reason why I've kept this webinar short in terms of theory, is we're going to go in and we're going to do a couple of examples.
Okay.
Workflow rules. Let's look at the standard options given in the CRM. Let's look at some of the demo data. Let's go. Now, have you had a look at this demo data? We have the
Yes.
email address. Right.
Yes.
So I'm going to create a workflow rule. I can read out from here. Workflow rules allow you to perform certain automatic actions on specific records based on filter criteria. Workflow automations can send emails, update fields, create records, and much more. So let's do leads and email. So I'm going to do, if you look at this, I'm going to do 2 in 1. Lead automation through email and workflow rule.
Okay.
So I'm going to create a workflow rule and have an email sent through that automation. New lead, email inquiry. So here I'm choosing the module where I'm going to be creating the workflow rule. I'm going to give this workflow rule a name so I can easily identify with it. And to put in a description or not is your choice. So let's just see. When do you want to execute this rule? On a record action, on a date and time, or based on a score? In this instance, if a new lead is created, we want to be able to send them a thank you email. So the first thing I'm going to do is open this up. Let's go create an email template to be able to run this rule on an email template. Thank you for contact. Representative will be in touch shortly. Regards. Okay, so we have that in place. Let's discard it. We have a new rule in place. There's a signature in there. Okay, great. So create net. Let's choose create. Why? As soon as the new lead gets created, we want that email to be sent off to the recipient who has sent us the email. So if new lead is email, is not empty. What is the instant action that we want to take place? So let's do a couple of things. Let's put in a tag, new lead. Again, a tag is a choice. You can choose to use it, not to use it. I chose to use it. An email notification. Name, new lead. Created. Email. Choose the recipient. Let's choose email. Let's save. Let's select the template. Save and associate. Let's save it. Even though I've put the new lead from web form entry, we're currently not using a form. So I'm just going to go and create a new lead. So already exists. Email address is there. Let's save it. Do you see this here? Email 1. Thank you for your inquiry. However, there is no email which has come into my email account. The reason being is I have not set up the email configuration over here, right? However, if that was set up, then what would happen is, with this, do you see this little tag over here? That's because I chose that if the email, if it is a new lead, and if that new lead has an email address field which is not empty, then the tag gets created saying new lead. And number two, without me physically sending an email, the template has already been sent out to the client. So here is the template, and it has pre-populated the data. Oh wow, it came through. How on earth did that come through? Let's have a look at it. Thank you for inquiry. So if I was the new lead, this would be the information that Wyatt would be receiving from Nitin, who created the lead. Wyatt filled out the website, visited the website, filled out the website form with his details, submitted it. A new lead in the CRM was created. Nitin already had the template pre-made, and the email was sent out to the client, thanking them for the inquiry. Have a look at the sales signal. The sales signal over here states that Wyatt Myers from IT Solution Solved has opened this email. The same is down here. It is sent. Now, if I don't refresh, it should show as opened. What is the source? The source of this email being sent is through a workflow alert as well as email automation at the same time. Given the time of opened as well. A lead assignment rule, I am not going to show you all because that will take a while. However, let's just say in this status, the lead owner is Shravan Kumar, who is the owner. He can choose to assign, if there were multiple users in this, based on an assignment rule. So say Nitin was handling all leads for India. Raj in that case would assign Nitin as the lead owner for this lead, because Vyas Myers has applied to IT solutions solved for an inquiry in India. If Amit was in Dubai and Vyas Myers made the inquiry in the Middle East, anywhere in the Middle East, then Raj would have created an assignment rule where Amit would be assigned as the lead owner, since this was based on region. Your question was lead scoring, right, Nathan?
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
come here.
No, no.
Yeah, so let's come. Scoring rules. Create scoring rules to quantify leads based on the properties and related activities. So we're going to choose leads. In this instance, if first name is not empty, add 10 points. Last name is not empty, it will add 10 points. If the email address is not empty, it will add 10 points. So we have 10, 20, 30 points. Phone is not empty, it will add 10 points. So let's say a maximum of 50 points, right? Mobile is not empty, add 10 points, right? Based on this, as an example, we come here to leads. I have to create a new lead. It hasn't assigned anything to me. Let's go create a new lead. Is it .com or .au or just .com?
Just .com.
Okay. Can I have a
Yeah.
mobile number?
It's 98914
914.
075
Sorry, can you say that?
07547
07547.
547.
We have purposely not filled in the phone field, okay?
Mhm.
Or vice versa. If you write in the phone field, not
Mhm.
fill in the mobile phone. It hasn't worked. Let me go back. Have a look at this. First name is in empty, last name is in empty, and email address is in empty, phone number is in empty. So let's have a look at this. Okay, let's move all this out. Done. Let's add in the second one. Last name is not empty. Email is not empty, and mobile is not empty, and phone. Runs calling rules for all records. This might take a while, so we might have to come back to this.
Okay.
Let's just do one thing, make it easier. We'll just find out easily. And let's see, score. Let's put the score as the first one. Let's save it. There you go. So
Yeah.
total score is 50, but
Yeah.
you have 40
Or-
on 50.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
so? You have 40 on 50 because mobile field is empty.
Empty.
Let's do one thing. Let's go update it. Let's go back to scoring rules. Let's run it again.
Okay.
Now yours should be 50. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
50 on 50. So if you have
Yeah.
a team, see the scoring rules works for a couple of reasons. One is for teams to increase competition.
Mhm.
The second one is specifically for I don't know about sales. As I said, sales mainly for competition. For marketing, specifically in terms of email marketing. So what
Mhm.
happens is a lot of them usually have the CRM, and a lot of them use Zoho campaigns. And what happens is they have workflows in Zoho campaigns based on specific views. Like, see, all leads is a view,
Mhm.
converted leads is a view, junk leads. So you can go and create views for yourself. So I can create views such as I can create in this lead, I can create a drop down list field called email campaign, and then create a view based on this saying email campaign. So whenever a new lead goes into that custom view, then it is sent
Mhm.
to the email campaign, which is Zoho campaigns, and then you can actually have email campaigns or workflows of email campaigns run, which give you scores or
Okay.
update scores. So for example, if I have first name, last name, and email address, I get 30 points. Right? Now, email is sent to the client from the email campaign. If they
Mhm.
open the link which is in the email content, if they open the link, they get 10 points. it gets updated in the CRM. If they click a link to go and buy or fill up a form, then they get 10 points. So what happens is the score keeps changing based on the certain requirement that I pre-fill in beforehand on the scoring system.
Okay.
So that actually tells me the health or current status of that campaign I am running on that specific set of leads. So I can have like, if it's 50 on 50, then I'll tell my salesperson, please follow up, call up tomorrow morning or send them an email. You know, if it's like 20 on 50, something went wrong somewhere. What
Yeah.
went wrong? Either we don't have the relevant data with us, or it did not go in through the campaign, or the person didn't open or didn't click, which then they can again be sent through the
Yeah.
pipeline for a second email or an email series.
Got it. Got it, brother. Got it, Mike.
Blueprints. Again, I'm going to cover this in very easy format. So let's just say, let's go to Nitin. Let's say we are creating a lead for Nitin. Now, say I do not fill in the email address. The blueprint states that I have to have the email address, otherwise I cannot create a lead. So when I click save, there's going to be an error message over here or a warning message which says cannot proceed to the next step until I have an email address.
Yes.
So I fill in an email address and I can go over to the next step here. So even if I have no email address and I click on facts, so I click on annual revenue, it won't permit me to until I finish this step. That's what a blueprint does. It lays down the steps or procedures to be followed for a particular lead, a contact, or any specific module. Custom function. Now, if I have to come back to that workflow, let's go to the workflow. Let's have a look at custom functions. I'll come to functions later on. Let's go to workflow rules. Let's just give you an overview of this and then go back into. Okay. Somebody's child is in full form today.
Sorry, I couldn't get. My mind was something
I
else.
said I said
Something
somebody's
else.
child is in full form today. He's in a very good mood today.
Okay.
Yep. So let's come here. So let's just say there's an inquiry which has been made on the website form. What have we done? Added a tag which says, well, it's a new lead. We've created an email notification which says, send out an email thanking the person for the inquiry and telling them that someone will follow up within 24 hours. We also want to create an action. Action is task. New task. Follow up. New lead within 24 hours. Right. The trigger date is plus 1 business day. The status is not started. The other statuses are deferred, in progress, completed, and waiting for input. So this is a task to remind you to follow up for something. I've given plus 1 business day. So the next day, at a certain time, will I send myself a reminder that I need to follow up with this new lead, which we had received in our CRM. Select one or more users. At present, we do not need to select any other user except the current one. We want to notify their sign and remind their sign. So I want to send myself a reminder tomorrow at 9 a.m. and I want to be reminded through email that I need to follow up with this new lead. Description. fill in the description, it always helps. Save and associate. Now what happens if I forget to follow up within 24 hours? Execute 2 days after it. Next, I want to create a task for myself. However, what happens is every day I will have to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this, right? So what then happens is the scheduled action keeps increasing over here, but then there has to be a limit. The CRM does not permit the scheduled action to go on forever. So what happens is the stand-up follow-up with new lead in 24 hours is created, and then the developer creates a custom function which states unless status is changed to completed, the user will be reminded every day at 9 a.m. So what happens is the developer takes this particular task, which is the first task, as the base. What is the base? Which says follow up after 1 day at 9 a.m. in the morning by email reminder. So after 1 day, if the status is not changed to completed, what then happens is every day this individual or user gets reminded at 9 a.m. to follow up with this client until the task is not completed. If the task status is changed to completed, after which all notifications for that particular task stops. Data administration.
धीरे धीरे
You have import and you have import history. Import shows you the list of other CRMs which are there, which you can import into Zoho CRM. Your import history shows you your history of imported data which you have made into the CRM regardless of when. For a different instance, so per se, IT Solutions has two accounts for Zoho CRM. One is IT Solutions Solved USA and another is IT Solutions Solved India. Now, IT Solutions Solved India needs to import the leads that are there in IT Solutions Solved USA. What you do is click on Zoho CRM, browse the files. Once you browse the files, it will then give you the criteria. Let's go and look at what a criteria looks like. That's going to be an issue. So the criteria is based on the fields. The data mapped is going to be the data which is available in the CRM compared to the data fields which are there in the Excel sheet. An example would be if the email address in the existing CRM is there, but in the Excel sheet there is no field called email address, then what happens is all email addresses for that imported data for a specific module, let's say the leads module, does not get imported. So you're going to have first name, last name, phone, mobile, but you did not map the email address to the CRM and Excel. So that skips that field and all the data then does not get imported, which leads to data deduplication. Just as they show these stages over here to be followed, you upload your data, you map your data, you map your fields, CRM to the other CRM, review it to make sure it is all in place, click on finish, and then your data gets imported, such as this demo import which we had created. Exporting your data. Exporting data is taking out data from your CRM. You get the options of using specific modules to export your data. If you want to export all your data from your leads, you choose your leads and you click on export. It asks you, are you sure? I click on yes. Once the data is exported, you double click on the data and you get to find all your lead information as from the CRM now on an Excel sheet. You can also request a data backup option. In the enterprise version of the CRM, which comes along with Zoho One, which we are doing the webinar on and the practicals on, this particular subscription covers 2 free backups per month. You can also purchase additional backups for $10 USD per backup. So if I click up backup preferences, you get the options of choosing whether you want to do it twice a month, once a month, every week, or download immediately. Let's click on download immediately. And if I click on download, it downloads all the data in all the modules that is there. If there is no data in a specific module, it will also do a backup of that particular module, regardless of where there is data or no data. Storage. This shows you the available storage that is there in your CRM. In this edition of the CRM, you are allowed 10.5 GB. How much data has already been used in the CRM? 160 KB. It tells you where you've used your data. We've used data in tasks, calls, leads, opportunities, contacts, events, emails, companies, and notes. Recycle bin is where you have deleted any of your data from the modules in your CRM. This data is kept in the recycle bin for up to 2 months, after which it is deleted and it cannot be recovered regardless. What is an audit box? The audit log provides you with a chronological sequence of actions performed by you in the CRM. So it gives you the entire history of what has been done with every single click in the CRM. Sandboxing. Sandboxing under data administration is basically an environment for developers to use before they actually implement the work on a real-time basis. So, on an existing CRM which is already in use by a company, the developer does not want to go and make changes while people are working on the CRM. What he'd do is he'd use the sandbox, create a test environment, make sure that test environment works perfectly well and there's no discrepancies or issues, and then implements those changes without affecting anything that already exists in the CRM. In that way, the people working on the CRM will have a seamless experience without any kind of disruptions. Marketplace. Zoho CRM extensions. Zoho CRM extensions are specific extensions which have been created either by Zoho or third-party developers and companies to help in using the CRM. An instance would be LinkedIn. Let's go have a look at it. Nitin, did you try and say something to me? I didn't hear you.
वो क्या थी, मैं एक है ना आधे घंटे में करता हूँ, आपको कॉल करूँगा, मैं घर पे ही हूँ, कोई वेबिनार चल रहा है मेरा, उसी के रिगार्डिंग के जो गए थे हम बड़ा वो। हाँ अच्छा, हाँ वो तो हो लिया ना, पैसे पैसे जो मिलने थे या रजिस्ट्री जो भी होनी थी वो तो हो लिया ना केस।
Nitin, we can hear you.
उसके रिगार्डिंग चलो मैं करता हूँ आपको, दीदी 1 मिनट वो चल रहा है प्रोग्राम एक बार। हाँ लैपटॉप पे ही मैं करता हूँ आपको, आधे घंटे में करूँगा, ठीक है।